What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTP Sports. We got another Phillies win. It's 4 wins in a row. They find ways to win. They found ways to win tonight, once again, like they've had in the past couple of wins. And also, just full foreclosure here, because I didn't know the game started at 6. I thought the game was 6:45. I looked at the schedule. I just kept seeing 6:45, 6:45. I didn't know the game started at 6, so I was like, why is my phone going off for the start of the game? It's only 6 o'clock. Isn't this a 6:45 game? No, apparently it was like a 6 o'clock game. Jesus goddamn Christ. Like, why are we doing 6 o'clock? And then I find out it's because of fucking Snoop Dogg. Apparently, for some reason, Snoop Dogg's doing a concert after the Cincinnati Reds Phillies game. That is the weirdest thing in the world. Is there a reason why Snoop's doing this? I don't know. I don't know. I find it very funny. I find it very funny that Snoop Dogg's doing a post-game performance after this, and that's why the game was at 6, so you could officially say, oh, the Phillies played an earlier game because of Snoop Dogg. So that was the reason why I didn't know the game was so early. But still, a game was played, and the Phillies did win a game, so it was a good way to start off the series. After, the offense got off to a very slow start, they would actually be in, like, perfect game through, like, 4 or 5 innings in this, until I believe it was JT Realmuto to end the perfect game bid with the first hit of the night for the Phillies. And you also have Taijuan Walker on the mound on the other side, and gives up an early run to the Reds, but that would be his only run allowed of the entire night. He battled, he definitely did, but he still did his job. He did what he was asked for. He got quality start. He went 6 innings, only allowing 1 earned run, which basically his job just keep us involved in the game, whether you're giving up 1 or 2 earned runs or no earned runs. Just go deep enough as you can and keep us involved in the game, and that's exactly what Taijuan Walker did in today's game. That's what he's done for the past couple of outings now, and good on him. And good on him, because basically the entire, besides like from maybe like the few bad appearances of Taijuan Walker this year, which is very surprising to say that. He's actually been, when his number has been called, he's been doing a lot this year in different circumstances, whether that's being put back into the starting rotation, whether that's being a bullpen arm, or being flung back into the starting rotation because of pitcher injuries and all that, and asking to go, different amount of innings because, you were stretched out to be a bullpen guy this year. Oh, we got to go back into the starting rotation and throw this amount of innings, then you're stretching yourself even further and all that stuff. He's doing his job. He's doing his job. He's doing even more of asked of him. So it's just kudos to Taijuan Walker. Just kudos to him. He deserves it. He definitely does deserve it, because granted he hasn't lived up to the contract that the Phillies did sign him to be a 4th starter in this rotation, because we all know how terrible last year was, and him just not being on any of the postseason rosters from 23 and 24. He's done his job this year more times than not, and he does deserve a lot of that credit, especially for keeping you involved in the game once again. So good for Taijuan. Just good for Taijuan, and his stat line finishes at 6 innings, 6 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts on 93 pitches. He got his job done. He did battle. He definitely did. He dealt with a lot of base runners in today's game, but he battled, and he found a way to get it through it, and found a way to only allow 1 run in this ball game, and that run was in the bottom of the first inning. That was basically it. And it kind of just felt like it was going to be one of those games where the Phillies just weren't going to score. They were going to they're going to get shut out and have that, stinker of a game after a very good feeling after a series sweep. And it kind of escalated even more when you have Bryce Harper getting gunned out at home on, a very shallow fly ball by Nick Castellanos. I believe it was in the 6th or the 7th inning or something like that. And he gets gunned out at home. And like, okay, this is probably where the rest of this game is going, most likely. And thankfully, that wasn't the case, because the Phillies with a 4-run outburst with 2 outs in the top of the 8th inning, all started by Edmundo Sosa getting on with a single with 2 outs, and Weston Wilson driving him home with a double down the line. Trey Turner tightened the game up. Trey Turner gave the Phillies the lead. Wilson tied the game up at 1-1. And then Reds decided to go to the bullpen. Kyle Schwarber against the bullpen. It's a fucking nuke. Schwarber. Ball was crushed. I didn't know where the ball landed. The ball was in the air for billions and billions and billions of miles. And it landed just fair. And you could tell on the angles it looked fair and all that stuff. It wrapped around the foul pole. And I guess the Reds, it was basically just a desperation of a challenge because you never know where the replays could go. But on the replays that we saw, that ball was gone, that ball was crushed, and it's another Schwarber. It's another excellent Schwarber. Gave you that cushion, gave you that 3-run cushion to give you a 4-1 lead. And then, David Robertson's first appearance in a Phillies uniform again. And, well, it definitely was shaky, to say the least. He got out of it unscathed. He did allow a couple of base runners. He was kind of all over the place, and it was God, just every time David Robertson pitches in the majors in the Phillies uniform, he's just for some reason just can't pitch in a Phillies uniform. Hopefully, he does figure it out as the rest of the season does go along. But it's just like, Jesus Christ, he just makes me nervous. He really just does. But he figured it out. He got out of the situation unscathed and kept you at a 4-1 lead. And then Orion Kerkering came on in the bottom of the ninth inning to record the save. No Johan Duran on 3 days usage. So definitely I was expecting that. But overall, it's a win. It's 4 wins in a row. And I believe that's 8 wins in your last 10 ball games. You're playing a lot better baseball as of late. And also, with today's win, the Mets did not play today. I believe they have a day off before they play the Atlanta Braves in their next series. So that advances you to 6 games above the Mets for first place in the National League East. And then you're also 20 games above 500 at 69 and 49. So just keep on winning. That is the most important thing. Even though you're kind of doing the Mets a favor because the Reds are the team that is chasing them and the team that is on the outside looking in that wild card race. So you're kind of doing the Mets a favor, but still, the most important thing that you should be doing is winning your games, not caring about what the Mets are doing. Well, realistically, you should be caring about what the Mets are doing because they are the team that you're fighting for with the division. And the more separation that you can get away from the Mets, especially with the way how putrid they have been falling apart recently, it's really important. And granted, we don't know what they're going to do in this series against the Atlanta Braves because it really can go anywhere. Even though the Braves are really not that good of a team, the Mets are just so bad right now that anything could happen. They can easily lose this series to the Braves, and they can easily win this series and find a way to get a little bit of momentum. Or they win this series, nothing gains from it, and they go right back to losing. Or they just continue to lose and lose and lose and lose and lose and lose. Or they find a way to wake themselves up. So it's really only 2 realistic possibilities there. But right now, yeah, that's the Mets. That's the Mets. But good win. It was a good win. Jordan Romano even came out of this ball game in the bottom of the 7th inning with a 1-run deficit, and he actually had a clean inning, surprisingly. It was a very quick one, too. 10 pitches, 7 strikes, and 1 strikeout. So good for Romano. Good for Romano. But yeah, found a way to win. And that's the most important thing. You have been finding ways to win, especially in these last 3 games. Friday, obviously, was the blowout against the Rangers. Then Saturday and Sunday, you found ways to win when your offense didn't start out so hot. You found a way. You found a way. And once again, the bottom of the lineup coming up clutch for you, which has been a major pattern in these past few games. And the top of the lineup guys did do some damage in those later stages, obviously with Trey Turner's single and Kyle Schwarber's homer. Can't forget those, obviously. But still, Sosa with the 2-out hit, Wilson with the 2-out game-tying double. Then it led into Turner and Schwarber doing their thing, which is very nice to see. Very nice to see. And overall, still some pretty solid defense overall. I think Sosa had a little bit of a boot in that bottom of the 1st inning, which allowed it to escalate even further, which was kind of annoying, but still. Really can't do anything much about that. But still, it didn't really cause you much harm. So, if we just go through the entirety of the game, Reds, obviously, they get their run in the 1st inning. Friedel with a leadoff double. Taijuan Walker gets the next 2 guys out. Andujar reaches in on an infield single. Then Luck singles to give the Reds a 1-0 lead. And then Taijuan Walker limits the damage. Phillies don't get their first hit, I believe, until the top of the 5th inning, which was a leadoff double by JT Realmuto. He does not come around the score. He does get the 3rd base, but he does not come around the score. Top of the 6th, Sosa with a leadoff single. He does not get the 2nd base. Top of the 7th inning, Harper with a leadoff double. JT grounds out, which moves Harper over to 3rd base. And then the Castellanos shallow fly ball, which was Harper got gunned out at home. And Nick Castellanos, all you had to do was get the ball a little bit deeper, man. And I understand in that scenario, Bryce Harper trying to be aggressive and all that stuff probably wasn't the best decision to run home on that type of ball. and it was kind of just bad all the ways around. Nick Castellanos is really struggling at the plate right now, and granted, it'll probably be his time for when his bat does get hot again, but it's just like, ugh, no wonder why Rob Thompson's really interchanging a lot of these outfielders right now, because Nick Castellanos' bat is not helping you currently. He is just not helping you. And right now, with Marsh's bat, even though it was against the lefty today, it's hard to keep Marsh's bat out of the lineup. Fucking Max Kepler has been more productive lately than Nick Castellanos, so there is an argument right there, and Harrison Bader should be in the lineup every day. So there's no wonder, like I said, why Rob Thompson's interchanging a lot of these outfielders. But then you go to that top of the eighth. Bader and Kemp start off with the strikeouts with Abbott, and you're thinking to yourselves, not the Phillies' day. It's a dud. Abbott's probably going to go to distance and get a complete game shutout. But then Edmundo Sosa with the 2-out single. Weston Wilson with the double down the third base line goes to the wall, which allows Sosa to score. Trey Turner then reaches it on a then gets the RBI single to give the Phillies a lead, then advances to second base on a throwing error because they were trying to throw home for some reason. So the Phillies have a 2-1 lead. Reds go to the bullpen. Schwarber with the Schwarbomb. 2-run shot gives you the 4-1 lead. Honestly, I thought Harper got into one, but it died right at the wall. So could have been back-to-back, but ends the inning. You get the 4-1 lead. Then you get to the David Robertson inning when he starts with the 4-pitch walk, and it's like, oh, God, please don't do this. Please don't give us the bad vibes. What, freaking Dave. But then he gets Cruz the line out. He gets Andujar to strike out. Lux then with a 2-out single, so the tying run did come out to the plate. But Marte grounds into a fielder's choice, which ends the inning unscathed for David Robertson. Top of the ninth, Bader had a 2-out double, did not come around to score. Then you got the 1-2-3 inning from Orion Kerkering in the bottom of the ninth to seal off the win. It's a good win by the Phillies. A good overall win by the Phillies. Can't say anything else about it. It was just a good win. 20 games above 500. You're finding ways to win. That's the most important thing right there. And now you set yourself up for one of these next 2 games to win the series. And I believe tomorrow Ranger is on the mound. Yes, he is. And that will be a 6:40 time start, so we actually have a normal start time there. But then Wednesday we're getting weird again with 5:10. Like, can we just have like normal 6:40 or afternoon start? Like, why 6 o'clock? Why 5:10? Like, why are we doing these weird things? It's very weird. Like, why is it so weird with Cincinnati? I have no idea. But you got Ranger Suarez tomorrow against Brady Singer. He's 9-9 with a 4.53 ERA. He is a right-hander on the mound, so you'll most likely have a lot of lefty-heavy lineup tomorrow. He's very up and down looking at his game stats. 4 earned runs in 3 2/3 against the Pirates. 6 innings of shutout baseball against the Braves. 7 1/3 of 1 earned run against Tampa Bay. Then 7 earned runs and 2 1/3 against Washington. He's very up and down from the looks of it. He's either very good or he's very bad. I don't think the Phillies saw him when they played in Philadelphia. I don't think they did. No, they did not. So this will be the first time I believe the Phillies are seeing him, unless they've seen him last year, which is a very much possibility. Yeah, the Phillies did see him last year. They smacked 5 runs off of him in 5 innings. En route to a Phillies 11-2 win on August 24th. So I guess the Phillies are very familiar with him in that terms, but can't guarantee shit there. And then on Wednesday afternoon, it's Christopher Sanchez against Hunter Green, who will make his first appearance, I believe, since June. So you do have a chance to win this series, and win this series you must. Win this series you must. So let's see. Yeah. I think for the most part, not much else happened in this game. It's just another example of the Phillies finding a way to win like they've been doing in the past couple of games. And also just Taijuan Walker keep putting him in a position to win a ball game, which he has been doing. And I do want to see a couple of the last stat lines from Taijuan Walker, actually, just to see how really consistent he has been. Besides, like, maybe like a few clunkers here and there. Overall, he's got a 3.39 ERA. That's way more than you could ask from Taijuan Walker from the way that he has been performing. So let's go back to some previous Taijuan Walker starts. In the month of July, he had a 3.8 ERA. He didn't give up more than 3 earned runs in that month. Obviously he started as an opener, or that was his time in the bullpen, actually, I believe, against San Diego. 2 2/3, no earned runs against San Francisco. In San Francisco, 4 innings, 1 earned run Against the Angels, 4 innings, 3 earned runs. Against the Yankees, 5 2/3, 3 earned runs. Against the White Sox, 5 innings, 2 earned runs. And then today he put you in a position to win the ball game. Today, obviously, he put you in a position to win the ball game against the Baltimore Orioles. He went 6 innings of shutout baseball. Then a lot of the time in the month of June, he was in the bullpen. He didn't allow more than 3 earned runs in those situations. No earned runs in 2 innings against the Braves, 1 earned run against the Mets, 2 earned runs against the Mets, no earned runs against the Marlins or the Blue Jays, 2 earned runs against the Cubs, no earned runs against the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Blue Jays. Then the month of May he was not good. But overall lately he's been more good than not. So I think he just deserves some credit there, 100%. So yeah. So you got Ranger on the mound tomorrow, and hopefully we get a good version of Ranger, or it's going to be more of the same from him. Who knows? We'll just have to wait and see. Then we'll have Christopher Sanchez on Wednesday late afternoon at 5:10. I still find that to be very weird. I still find that very weird. 6 games up on the Mets now. Feels very nice to say that. And with the Mets series, they start tomorrow against Atlanta, obviously. Let's see what the pitchers are for that series. Clay Holmes against Spencer Strider. David Peterson against Carlos Carrasco, and then Kodai Senga against Bryce Elder. So yeah, the pitching matchups definitely are not in favor of the Braves, but the Braves have been the Braves this year. Strider obviously still has not found himself this year, coming off of Tommy John surgery, but you never know. The Mets also play Seattle after this, so that's going to be a tough series for them, especially with Seattle's pitching. So it's just basically we'll wait and see. Take care of your own business, and then whatever happens with the Mets happens with the Mets. Really can't do much besides that. And then in terms of the league right now, you're currently the second best team in Major League Baseball, behind the Brewers, 4.5 games there. And I'm assuming that means you're the second best team in the National League, a game up on the Los Angeles Dodgers. So realistically at this point, if this is the way the division is going to go, you have to focus on trying to get that second seed in the National League, because at this point the Brewers are most likely running away with that first seed. They've won 9 in a row, and they're most likely not going to stop losing, I would assume, at this point. So focus on your tasks at hand. Whatever happens with the Mets happens with the Mets. They lose, it's icing on the cake. Win your games, all that stuff, especially when you do face the Mets. That's your chance to bury them, especially if the separation is still there when you do face them. That's your chance to bury them. But that's still ways away at this point. That's not until the end of the month. But yeah, overall, just a good stretch by the Phillies. There's a good stretch by the Phillies right now, and hopefully they keep it up. We do have one voicemail here. That's from Zach. So we might as well get to that, and we'll get to you guys here in the chat before we end it off, because I got some work to do after this. Bros is not posting it until later. He's not posting the immediate pod. And then, obviously, I do Russ's editing, too. He's on vacation, but then he had the bright idea to do a 7 o'clock show. So I'm in the middle of doing that right before I started this. So want to get a lot of work done tonight. It's going to be very busy. I probably won't be able to watch Monday Night Raw, so thankfully that's on Netflix. Yeah. Let's get to Zach's call.
And they do it again. These Phillies, man, they just never quit. You're going to have to get all 27 on this team, baby. I'm telling you. You know, at this point, I don't doubt them anymore. Like I brought up in previous calls, you know, earlier in the year, you would chalk it up to a loss. But this team, they just got that it factor, man. They're staying in games. You know, you do want to see them get out ahead early more, and that will come. I'm sure it will. But just the fact that when it's not totally their night, they're able to just rip one out. I mean, I love this baseball team. Taijuan Walker has been a pleasant surprise this year. I know he's not, you know, probably as good as the numbers say, but he's doing pretty darn well. A lot of quality starts. And then, you know, you got Weston Wilson, Trey Turner, of course the big man, who's just the best player I've ever seen. You know, he's unbelievable. And this bottom of the order, like this is a team. It's a full team effort. It's taken all 26. And that's exactly what you're going to need if you want to win a World Series. Exactly. So let's keep it going. Up 6 games now. Didn't even have to use our closer tonight. You know, slot a Ryan Kirkering in there. And we'll have our big arm fresh tomorrow. Hopefully we don't even need him. Hopefully we come in and just plaster him. But hey, keep it going, baby. Go Phils. Peace.
Yep. Yep. And for Kerkering, I was actually very curious to see if this was like his third day in a row pitching. I don't think it was. I think it was his second. No, it was so he pitched on Friday. Okay, he pitched on Friday and Sunday, so he's been used back-to-back days, so he didn't pitch on Saturday. Okay. Okay, I was just definitely curious at that aspect. But yeah. So he used Kerkering 2 days in a row. Most likely he won't be available tomorrow. Strom probably is available tomorrow, unless he won't be because he did pitch in every game against Texas, I believe. Duran probably will be available tomorrow, so it really just basically all that depends on what your offense does, if Duran has to come into the game or not. But if your offense goes off, obviously you don't have to worry about using mostly your high leverage guys. But yeah, it's definitely it's just right now they're playing a good brand of baseball. They're very fun to watch right now, and that doesn't take away from like the overall feelings on the team. But right now, it just kind of does feel like there's that little bit of a different vibe right now with the way that the team is playing, the way the team is holding themselves right now, and maybe that all has to do with maybe Duran really just changed like the aspect of the team to where there's really no, I guess, stress that you have to feel like because you have that de facto guy in that ninth inning, whether it's the top of the ninth or the bottom of the ninth, and maybe it puts less pressure on your offense to constantly have to go out there and score a bunch of runs per game because you don't trust the guys that are in there in the high leverage situations. Now you have Duran in there. Maybe that takes the pressure off the offense and that takes the pressure off the other guys in the bullpen because now they know what their set roles are because they don't have to worry about coming in the ninth, maybe here and there just in case Duran has a day off. But majority of the time, it's Duran out there in that ninth inning to close games out. And those other guys like Strom, like Kerkering, Robertson, Alvarado eventually, and Banks and all that stuff, they know their set roles. So maybe that affects some things. And even with Harrison Bader too, you have a guy that is most likely your bona fide center fielder, and he does have a good energy about him. He does bring some life, I guess you can say, just with his attitude and all that stuff. Maybe that's good for the clubhouse as well. Maybe that meshes very well with Brandon Marsh's attitude, especially when Brandon Marsh is going good. So right now they're just playing a good brand of baseball. That doesn't take away from the flaws that we still do think this team has offensively and still will be question marks as we get closer and closer to the postseason. But right now is really just a time just open up. I think it probably is the right thing to just open up with this team right now and just ride the journey till the end of the season, ride the journey until we get to the playoffs and all that stuff. And then if it turns into heartbreak, it turns into heartbreak right now. Now that doesn't mean I'll give him leeway if we get into a series against the New York Mets when you have a chance to bury the team and then you don't bury the team. I'll definitely be pissed off about that. But still, right now, they're playing a good brand. They're finding ways to win games, which I think is a good aspect. So we just got to see where this takes them. So, very important thing right there. Got you guys in the chat here, and there's only a couple of you. It's Franco, and it's also 99/22, who's making an appearance in the chat when we make fun of the New York Mets. Appreciate you guys for being in here. What an explosion by the offense late on. Oh, yeah. Schwarber should win the MVP over the Gambler. I think I think it'll be difficult. I think Schwarber. Yeah, I know that's also bias like put in there as well, but I do think Schwarber is more MVP worthy than Shohei is this year, just because if you take Shohei out of the Dodgers lineup, I still think they're a good lineup. But if you take Schwarber out of the Phillies lineup, the Phillies offense is way worse off. Way worse off. Now, it's not saying that the Dodgers offense wouldn't be worse off without Shohei, but I still think constructively they're still a better lineup. They're still a good lineup even without Shohei. With the way Schwarber has mostly carried a lot of the offense this year, the Phillies offense would be probably one of the worst in baseball. One of the worst in baseball without Schwarber. That's why I think he's more valuable. And I think there should be a case, even though there should be a case right now, if he does reach that 60 home run mark, which he's getting very close to. And how many home runs does he have on the season right now? Because he's got to be close to 50, right? He's got to be. So what was today's home run? He's got 42, if that counts today. No, so he has 43 after today's game. So he's getting closer to 50. He's 7 home runs away from 50. He's 17 home runs away from 60. He definitely does have another like a couple of surges when he hits a bunch of home runs in a certain span of games. So I just think right now he's been more valuable for this team, and he's already almost at 100 RBIs. He's at what 99 RBIs. So yeah, I think he's worth it. We do need a conversation surrounding by Nick Costi. Oh yeah, Nick has been bad. Nick has been bad. That's why Rob Thompson was trying to get him out of the lineup in Texas. Really not buying the fact that it was the turf and just wanted to give his outfielders the day off. Yeah, he was trying to get Nick out of the lineup and rotate the outfielders because Nick's bat's been that bad. Taiwan should honestly be the sixth starter for this point. If you do want to extend the rotation, give guys some rest, maybe that is an option. But we'll see. Saiwan Walker is better than any Mets starter. Mets starters can't go 6 innings not named David Peterson. Yeah, that's the one flaw with the Mets rotation. They've burned out their bullpen basically because you can't survive on starters going not deep in the games because you're relying on Clay Holmes, who was a closer, convert starter, which is he's not going to go deep in the games that often. Kodai Senga just can't stay upright, and he can't go deep in the ball games. And then you have Frankie Montas, you have Sean Manaea, who just came back from an injury and all that stuff. Yeah, David Peterson's the only guy for them that can go deep in the ball games, and that eventually adds up. That eventually puts wear and tear on your bullpen. Granted, that's why they went after so many bullpen arms at the deadline, and both of those bullpen arms have backfired so far because none of them have been good, especially Ryan Helsley. Not been good. They're burning their bullpen out, so that was a bad move on the Mets' part. Sosa's a spark plug. He should start every day until Bohm comes back. Oh yeah, that's basically what he's doing right now. It's kind of sad to say that this is their longest win streak of the season. I think they went on a longer one before, but yeah, this is definitely sad to say it's one of their longest. I think they did go on a 9-game winning streak at some point in the season. I think they did. Don't quote me on that, but I think they did. I think they did. It was probably at the really early stages of the season now. Let's see. So let's see. What was their longest stretch of winning? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 9-game winning streak. It was that stretch from the Pittsburgh Pirates until the second to last game against the Athletics. The 3 games at home against Pittsburgh, the 4 games on the road against Colorado, and then the 3-game series against the Athletics where they won 2 of 3, which almost was a 10-game winning streak until the bullpen blew it. So that was their longest win streak of the season was 9 games. But yeah, this is also one of their longest, which is kind of annoying to say that. Kepler and Marsh tomorrow. I'm getting ready to bank one and crash out on another. Duran and Bader definitely brought some team life. Oh yeah, 100%. So, just fun baseball right now. Fun team to watch right now. And we'll see how long it carries us right now. So that'll do it for tonight, everybody. Obviously, like I said, I got a lot of editing to do now. So maybe it was a good thing the game ended so early. But also, it's going to be a busy night. So, appreciate you guys for hanging out and tuning in. So don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It does me a great deal of service. And also use the code TTPSPORTS. $20 off your first purchase at